What's up?
I think we're live here. All right. Yeah, this is just going to be a discussion with the four of us. We've all been typed in the objective personality system as Savior, FE. We're all double deciders. We have two EPs here, and then Rick and I, IJs. And we hear a lot of stereotypes and stuff like that about FE, Savior FE. I haven't related to a lot of them. A lot of times I'm on the Facebook groups and people are making comments and I jump in and I say, I don't relate to this, and end up doing that a lot and try to dial that down a little bit. But I just thought it would be fun to get some people together and have a talk about what it's like as a guy to have Savior FE. We got a bunch of questions from the community that we gathered, and I came up with some questions, and we're just going to go through them and talk about some of the stereotypes, stuff like that. So I'll just let everybody introduce themselves here. Jacob, you want to start?
Sure. I'm Jacob, ENTP with FE. I think it's interesting to note that we're all feminine FE by chance, so there might be a fixation on that kind of FE over masculine FE. Yeah, that's that. Rick?
Yeah, so my name is Rick. I'm INFJ, NIFE, Blast Play, Consume, Sleep Last. And I've, I tested as an INFJ way back when as like a younger person, 20-something years ago. And when I got OP typed, it was pretty much the same. So that was kind of interesting for me. So I'm sure that'll come up in what we talk about today, but I'm excited to be here.
I'm Ian, SCFE, Play, Consume, Sleep Last. And I was typed in April. So I was an IJ for a long time. So that was a big revelation for me that I'm an EP. But so yeah, I'm happy just to be here and explore FE a little deeper.
Yeah, and Jacob, by the way, thanks for jumping in at the last minute. We had someone bailed on us.
Yeah, no problem.
You saved us today. Thanks.
Happy to jump in if anyone throws an invite.
Cool, appreciate it. I wanted to start with just at least mentioning the objective personality definition of Savior FE. Start with that, so we have that as sort of a baseline, I guess, to start from. What they say is it prioritizes the spectrum of the tribe's values and then seeks their own personal reasons. So what do you guys think of that? You relate? Does that make sense to you guys? Anyone?
For me, I have to say, yeah, because that's what makes it be called Savior FE. If it wasn't that way, then the FE wouldn't be Savior. We just have TI or something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think from my own personal experience, I relate to the definition. Growing up, for me, it's always been easy to just see the extroverted feelings outside of myself, the values of others. And my fixation wasn't there necessarily. My fixation was figuring out my own compared to that. And so for me, I could see it as being the priority is seeing out there and experiencing the tribe's values, so to speak, and then figuring out mine after that. So yeah, I would relate to the definition.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
Do you want to jump in there, Ian?
Wait, no first.
Okay, I was just gonna say for me it's like an awareness of the tribe's values, like all the time, like constantly aware of it. So in that sense, that precedes like before I jump to my TI and like think about my own reasons and stuff. I am aware constantly of the tribe, or at least I perceive that I'm aware. I might be wrong about what I think their values are, but it does like always come to my mind first to think about that. So
you're picking up on it first.
Yeah. So Ian, did you?
I say it works at its very essence. I think all of us are kind of paying attention to what matters versus what works, right? So in what matters, we all are picking up on different things. So it makes sense in that capacity, right? So, yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Maybe what works for me, I'm aware of, but I'm not aware of what works for everyone. Mm-hmm. I don't focus on that at all. Yeah.
So I have a question with that. Do you think that it's that definition, because it kind of bothers, or it seems people can't narrow down. Do you think that's a TI versus a TE thing? If you take that definition that Dave and Shan have said,
What works
or
with
just,
everybody?
just prioritizing the spectrum of tribe values, because most people talk about emotions and feelings, and you know,
Yeah, it's not about that.
it's a lot more than that. You
Yeah,
think it's a TE thing?
Maybe TI, because we have TI, we expect people to work out what works for them by themselves. But with FE, we want to make sure everybody's okay with what's around them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I kind of move through life assuming everyone else has TI. Like, I'm not gonna like make you know what I mean. So like, and in the definition when it says prioritizes, that almost to me seems like I'm choosing to prioritize. I'm not choosing. I don't want to be aware of the spectrum. I'm not.
You're unconsciously default.
I'm not doing it.
Just doing
That's
it, maybe.
Yeah, that's my experience with that too. The word prioritizes is a little bit of a the nuance isn't there for me.
Yeah,
it makes you feel like there's a choice there. Whereas I just observe and I'm taking in automatically all these subconscious interpretations that I have of everyone else's values, what they care about, what may or may not be their experience, and trying to make sure I understand that. It just happens. Versus dealing with my own TI, that's a process. So yeah, I'm going towards the automatic first. I'm observing that first. I wouldn't say it's a choice. It just happens,
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's same for sure.
Agreed.
All right.
Just so you know, Kevin, I don't know if you're keeping an eye on the comments, but Anna has a question that came in there. I don't know if you want to hang on to that for later, but just giving you a little heads up there.
It's directed at Jacob here. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it on comments.
How do you each see your FE and how do you notice it? Yeah, we're kind of going to touch on that, I think, most of the way through here. So, yeah. Versus TE here. Let's see if you can.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll hit on that as we go here. So, yeah, definitely. That's good. Keep us focused here. Let's just jump into the questions then. Is that cool with you guys?
Yeah.
These are questions I grabbed from like friends on Facebook and then some Discord friends, and I came up with some. So we'll just start here. Is FE?
Jacob?
Say that again.
I said, Jacob, I see a little chaos over there.
Oh,
it's chaos.
Hi there. You want to join? All right. So the first question is FE a fake function? Fake? Is it fake?
It's a loaded question, I think.
It's definitely
yes and no.
You're gonna say yes and no? Okay.
I think it's fake in the sense that it's not. So with FE, we're kind of taking ourselves out of the.
It's not personal. Yeah.
It's not personal, and you are trying to capture the broader sense of things. So you're not injecting yourself. So I'm not coming from a place of authenticity in terms of this is me, this is what I think in this. I'm just trying to figure out what everybody else is thinking. So because it's devoid of me, like my TI, some people may take it as it's not authentic, it's not you. So in that sense, no. I mean, yes, it's fake, but then it is who I am, and that's what FE is. So it's real at the same time.
Yeah, I think you're really trying to interpret like a very binary question of yes, no, and finding that gray area in between. Because I do think it's more of a gray thing. I think there's sincerity in the extroverted feeling, regardless of where it is.
It's definitely
right?
sincere. Yeah,
I think there's sincerity, but the authenticity of self. How much are you injecting yourself into that equation at that point in that experience is going to be based on your own understanding of like where are your personal boundaries, how much do you want to inject yourself into this thing, and I think that can be seen from the outside as fake. If somebody knows you very well and they're like, well, why did you answer that way? Why did you talk to that person that way? That's not what you don't think that. Why did you do that? You don't really care about that, or whatever it is, right? It can come off fake, but I think the sincerity of the moment and that connection of extroverted feeling and being with the spectrum of values in that moment is real, is not fake, but you can lose yourself there, which can be seen fake. Yeah.
I guess if you're bringing in your TI to what you're doing, your identity's in there, baked in,
Mm-hmm.
It's not fake because that's you, but maybe you're moving people emotionally in some way.
Could be maybe manipulative if it's a little aggressive or whatever. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting question to try to find.
I think it's
yes
perceived.
or no.
I think it's perceived by FI people a lot as fake, for
Right.
sure. Because it's not FI. So if you're thinking it's FI, then it's going to seem fake. So, potentially.
Yeah.
I think.
I saw this question online and I thought it was a great question to add to this question. What's worse, a fake person or a rude person?
I like that.
Fake or rude? Yeah, probably fake for me.
If you ask most people, they will say they'd rather have a fake person. They rather
I would rather have the fake person.
Yeah.
Than you and rude. So they want it. They want the fee. They want the FE.
Interesting.
To me,
sometimes rudeness though is a perception. Someone's trying to give you some honest criticism. You could say, "Oh, that's rude," but maybe they're actually trying to help you in some way. We're just perceiving it negatively.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
I think it's how you present the criticism, if it's constructive or not, and then tone of the voice. We're looking for the FE.
Yeah. I think in my own experiences, especially with work, right, talking to clientele, I've gotten to the point where I started off being very much trying to be polite and not say cuss, not cussing, not swearing, not being too offensive or against what they're saying and going with them, FE all the way, right? And I think I'm at the point where it's now, if I'm hearing BS, I'm going to call it out in the moment, but I know naturally I'm going to soften that blow and not be rude. And I'm going to still have an FE overpowering that TI that's coming out, just for the sake of being accurate and right in that moment. So I know this is deviating from the fakeness, but the rude aspect versus fake, I think there's some interesting dynamic there. You could still be real and slightly rude, but not too rude.
Right. You can soften the rudeness a little bit.
Yeah, if you're, I guess, strong enough with knowing where your TI lands and how to present it,
I think that's part of it too, with just learning people and learning what's acceptable. Like in our mind, we may have that this is rude, but then you assert yourself in that area and you figure people respond to it. So then you learn that it's okay to push a little bit, and people aren't going to they're not going to take it bad.
Yeah.
And it's just you calibrate and adjust as you go along. So it's interesting. I picked that up.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good. All right, let's move on to another question here. Do you see yourself as a feeler? Before you got your official type, did you type yourself as a feeler? Both those questions together, I guess. Anyone want to jump in first, or you want me to go?
I can jump in. Because people just jumping into OP, maybe they have a background in something else like MBTI or whatever. When you talk feeler, a lot of it's related to emotions. I don't relate on the emotion spectrum per se, but when you talk about what you value, like really understand the word value, I completely relate to that.
Yeah.
I agree with that very much. The word value has a much stronger connection with me. But I know that in the OP world, this is feeler. In the MBTI world, this is feeler. Talk about emotions and feeling. But I think there's a strong feeling internally of what I value and what's kind of true or right for me.
Yeah.
And so for me, the feeler concept was always there and very obvious to me.
Yeah. I would agree. Yeah, I would agree also. Valuing is something that's happening all the time. Like I'm seeing what other people are valuing. I'm deciding, I'm going into my TI, do I value that? Do I have reasons to also value that thing? Or maybe I don't. Maybe I decide I don't value that or negatively value it. So that is constantly happening for me, automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I was typed, or before I was typed, I always said I was a thinker that was good with people. Right? And then I thought I was an INTJ, right? So then I got my type. And it's like, that's still true, right? I have that masculine thinking, but I am good with people, even though but I wasn't aware of what was going on externally. And even when I was on Ben's show the other day, what I was describing to people, because people kept putting in the comments that I was an ESFP, right?
Mm.
What I was describing to him was like just my mental processes. It's not something that I, will come out in words a lot of times. It's just what I'm picking up on. And what comes out doesn't feel that way. Probably a lot more thinking involved. So what we're doing feels, I mean, like you said, it's automatic. So it's not necessarily something you're really going to see.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask me what I'm doing, we kind of like narrow it down, and it's like, okay, yeah, that is feeling. So I still like my good with people, but still a thinker. But for all intents and purposes, yeah.
Yeah, I think with TI also, and being double deciders in the middle there, I identify with my TI. That's like me.
Yeah.
So I feel like a thinker. I think I'm a thinker because it's deep. It's it's who I am.
Yeah.
So I don't really see myself as a feeler. So that's always kind of a strange thing for me. Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
All of us have masculinity except for Kevin. He's got the feminine NI.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I had typed myself as TINI. I thought I was a ISTP jumper. So
Demons last.
Upside down there. All right, let's move on to the next question here, guys. Do you see yourself as tribe above self? Is that like a big thing for you? And in what sense do you see that?
Kind of take it in terms of volume, like, or just mentally, if there's a decision to be made, the first thing I'm thinking is what are the people involved going to think? What do they need, or what do they want?
Yeah.
And then it's a quick, okay, what do I want? What's most important in this situation? Right? Who needs to benefit the most? So you're just processing it that way and trying to figure it out that way. So in the case of tribe above self, yeah, it usually I'm thinking about the people first before I'm thinking about myself.
Yeah, I think for myself, my total understanding of everything is always tribe oriented, and it's generally the FE, right? It's what are the patterns of that, and then it's always contrasting myself against that, or where is my sliver within that spectrum? Like, where do I exist? And trying to find my own personal boundaries within that realm, and that's a process that takes time. But everything I do all the time is constantly just checking in on the tribe, helping the tribe, working with and for the tribe, and finding my place within that. So it's never not tribe above self for me unless I am away from the tribe and have no interruptions and by myself, doing something in the zone or meditative or whatever. Then I'm being selfish in that moment for me. But at all the times, it's tribe above self. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, definitely tribe above self. But instead of like thinking of the tribe, I feel like I'm mostly just unconsciously adjusting to the tribe. Like, how do I see myself needs to be in the sight of the tribe, and then by overdoing the FE, you get all that validation, the tribe validation, which like brings out the TI, because you want to be true to the TI and have the tribe see that. I think
It's interesting that you bring up the validation component there.
I think that's what makes it like double deciding, that they're actually working together, the TI and the FE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it differs between the blast and the play and how it's expressed?
Oh, 100%.
I'm looking at Kevin and Rick. You guys play blast and play, right?
Yeah.
So how does that? Because we're, Jacob and I, when I see myself as play, it's more of like not as much. It's more of an information thing for me than it is to act in behalf of the tribe.
Yeah, I think for me, it's organizing, it's paring down, it's narrowing down towards like this solid framework of understanding, I guess intuition, right? It's narrowed down in subjective, personal intuition. My deep-rooted understanding of the tribe, as we call it, right? And all the things that it stands for, they care about, all that. And so for me, it's deeply personal the tribe components, it's personal for me to understand it. That is my ultimate truth. That is where that's what feels like my purpose and my being. And the way, Jacob, you just explained it, that was different, very different for me to hear that. I'm like, I don't relate to that, especially when you said validation and being in it. I actually would prefer to be away from the tribe and not interacting, because that's freaking exhausting.
It is.
Right.
I'd rather just think about the tribe after having a little bit of experience and go back and just kind of ponder it and process it, or just intuitively know about it,
I wonder
doing
if that's
this. Go ahead, Jacob.
I wonder if that's the consume, like you've had your tribe experience, now you got to withdraw then consume.
Yeah, and because I think I'm also at the same time, I think, double deciding on it, like, where do I exist in this? And like, I see, I get that, I get their thing, I get how that experience was and why they did this, but now I'm got sleep processes. I can't do that in front of other people. So I got to escape. And then my NI likes to just be away anyway, because then it can really drill into the patterns, It's a different experience than how I interpret what you just said, Jacob. Definitely.
Yeah.
And related to you, Rick, I naturally am just falling back. Like I don't feel like I need to inject myself into the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I can sit back and observe, and only when I need to blast or like control the tribe is when that responsibility or that feeling comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I know ahead of time that I have to do that, so I can kind of build myself up, conjure up what I need in order to be effective at it. But that need doesn't exist in me from day to day.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I thought I was self above tribe. I didn't type myself at all. Tribe was, to me, the tribe was like this biggest problem in my life. Like the stress of when I've had social anxiety most of my life. So I'm dealing with that while I'm doing this self-growth stuff. So I'm trying to overcome all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, it was like, they're the thing that's causing me all this stress. But I'm figuring some of that out actually now. So I'm seeing it. It's the awareness of them that I was trying to, keep out was causing me all this trouble. So I see it now. It was just, I had to recognize that I'm actually tribe of self, face up to that, know it, and stop trying to keep that out. Just try to deal with what's happening in here that's stressing me out from the tribe.
Right.
So I'm getting there.
I 100% relate to that, Kevin. 100%, especially the social anxiety aspect.
Yeah.
I struggled a lot with panic disorder, panic attacks from like 10 to 25, right?
Yeah.
In mid 30s now, but it always was just, I felt the chaos was the outside of me. It was the people, it was their emotions and dealing with it. And it really, truly wasn't that. It was so much that I just am so attuned to that, in tune with it, that I was losing myself in it and panicking, not knowing
what to do,
how to react or what to do, or even who am I, right? I didn't have a sense of self.
Right.
And it was in finding myself and boundaries and all this stuff and finding the balance of the tribe itself that the anxieties had to go away, and realizing that, I can observe without feeling the impending doom that I have to do something about it, which Ian is, I think, the opposite of what you just said, that you can observe. And it is, right?
Yeah,
for me,
when I'm observing,
no regrets, no remorse about it.
Yeah, there's a compulsion happening in me when I'm observing other people's emotions. Like I want to do something about it, but I don't feel like I'm responsible to do anything. So that
well, you don't want to impede on their TI, right? You don't want to do what's right for them. You want to respect that.
Right. So I'm sitting here like feeling this compulsion, but not doing anything about it, and then stewing in it. It's like,
I'm feeling it right now, Kevin. You're talking about, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this whole entire, for my FE tribe bros, but this whole entire experience getting on the group chat stream, having people watch it, this is like completely out of my comfort zone to like be talking to you guys. But I'm like, okay, one reassuring thing was we have a specific topic. We're talking about FE. I'm like, okay, I can narrow down that and try to leap out of my comfort zone right now.
Yeah, and growth comes from that anyway, right? Getting out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, I start to see if something's causing me a little like distress. That's a good thing. That's a sign that there's something there I need to work on and figure it out.
Absolutely.
So Yeah, I didn't like doing these at first. I was like, that was terrifying. So it's like, that's a sign that that's something I need to work on there. So
A little behind the scenes for anyone watching too. I did offer Kevin, hey, if you want any help with like managing the production side of this, yesterday I think I was saying this, because I know what it's like to be trying to plan this thing and then also run this thing for client stuff, and it's exhausting. It's anxiety producing to all heck, right? And because you want the concept to be out there, you want to bring it to the world and you want to process it yourself.
Yeah.
But then also like, oh, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to be around people. People are going to be watching you. Yeah.
It's more fun. It's more fun to do this going on someone else's show than to actually run it yourself. It's like
that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. We got a question
about us, Jacob.
What's up?
What does that say about us? Like we just
this is what happened behind the scenes. Ian messages me. Ian's like, "Hey, we're gonna do this FE talk. You want to join us being lead play? Yeah, why not?
Just
why not?
I'm not gonna organize any of the work, but I'll jump in.
Yeah.
Well, do you think if you had to organize it, that would be more stressful?
Oh, 100%. We probably never do it.
See, I'd rather organize it and not be a part of it.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
that would be better actually. Yeah.
It would have kicked in at like 7:00 today. Like I would have blowing all of y'all up in the messenger. Like we need to get all of this figured out. Like I would have thought about it because I had 2 other interviews and they were a priority. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's throw one of these questions from Sonnet here. Do you know when to not do FE? What do you guys think?
How can you not do FE?
How do you not do it? Yeah, right. Exactly.
So
I think
she's talking about more like an extroverted doing of it. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess
just
to not FE,
like
to act on your TI. That's what that means.
I guess it's like for me, it would be like seeing the room, and it's like there's a need over here, but I don't need to do it because someone else is right there, and they're probably going to go do it. That sort of thing.
Alleviating yourself of the responsibility to do it. Yeah.
Or
also for me,
when you read the other person and you see what you're saying and doing is like not wanted, dial back and back off.
I think even then you're still doing the FE to do that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So for me, it's been a struggle, but I think I've learned through my work on the coaching side. I do a lot of like business coaching and stuff like that. There are moments where people have to learn, I would say, I guess, the hard way and go and experience the uncomfortable aspects of life and experiences. And so my job isn't to make them feel better. My job isn't to let them see the silver lining. My job isn't to do anything other than to let them experience that moment, right? Especially if it's uncomfortable. My job is to allow them to grow in whatever capacity that means. And sometimes that means I have to know that in my TI and shut up and let them have that, right? And that is painful for me to watch someone else in distress or being uncomfortable, but most of the time they get there, right? It's like therapy work, right. Your job is to, have that space to express and be yourself. And I think for me to not do FE is to let others experience that moment for themselves and not try to influence in any way how they experience this moment emotionally or the dynamics of what they value being pushed against or whatever it is, right? So I think that would be when I know not to. In a personal capacity, I have no idea, but in a work capacity, that would be an example.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. You guys, anybody else have anything they want to comment on that one?
What was the original question?
Yeah. When to not do.
Okay.
That's tough, yeah.
Well, I think also it's always on, right?
Yeah, you're always going to be doing
it. It is.
I mean, if you're not doing anything, you're doing it. So, yeah.
We're addicted to our saviors.
It's just how do you put a break on what your compulsion is with the FE, I think is the question, right?
I think the easiest way to not FE is to just simply be alone because it's your extroverted decider. That makes sense.
Because we're taking in with it. We're taking in. So
when there's people around us, it's on by default. But only when there's no one around, you can turn it off. Or
I I would say that's probably for me, that's the experience, right? That's what it feels like. But I think, again, you can be in the moment and be mindful that I want to do something to help, or I'm observing this thing and I feel a compulsion or need, as you called it, Kevin, the compulsion to do something about it. But you can choose not to do something. And that's the double deciding in the moment, to choose within yourself, in your own mind, not to, because you decided for yourself that you don't need to, even though your compulsion is to do something, Yeah,
we're still aware of tribe values when we're by ourselves.
Yeah, I don't think the awareness is. I think the question is just worded in the way that we're all going. But you can't not be aware.
I think it's the pushy, here.
But I think it's the deciding. Yeah.
It just, I guess for me, you kind of walk into a situation and I kind of know what I need to do. If I need to inject myself, or if I need to just be there for the people. So it's I can't not do it, because part of my process of preparing for any situation is, can I be me? Can I come in with my own desires, or do I have to push those to the side in order to be there for the people?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very binary situation most of the time, and I kind of know going in.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right. Are you guys ready to move along here? Let's see.
Looks like another question came in as well, Kevin.
Okay. Let's just throw it up here and see what we think. When you have something bothering you with someone, do you...
What do we do? Stay quiet.
Go see the person personally, use the tribe to get things out in, or else?
So I'm interpreting the question as, if something's bothering you with someone else, do you go to them privately, or do you do it publicly, or what's your process, or do you not say anything?
Right.
I'm guessing that's what the question is.
I'll usually have to think deep about it, and
I would
try
not
to
discuss
understand
my problems with someone else. I would have to be alone about it.
Yeah, I would have to spend time contemplating, okay, what is the actual problem here? Deep NT puzzling it out, trying to understand it. And then once I think I have a good understanding of it, then go to that person and directly try to work it out from an unemotional, vibe or whatever. It's this is something I think we need to fix between us. This is how I'm seeing the problem. I just want to work on it together to fix this problem. What can I say? How can I, get you on board with fixing this with me? That sort of thing. But yeah, not immediately going to them for sure.
Yeah, I think for me, if it's a personal issue I'm having with someone where I feel that I need to resolve something for myself with somebody that I'm having, and it's not interpersonal with other people. So if it's for myself, then I would probably try to play it out in the moment with them, hoping to God that it'll just work itself out. Otherwise, I'm going to have to that painful, deep introspective work, go away, think about it, and then come back with my intention and hope that the communication was clear enough that they understood and that we can actually work on it together. Otherwise, the savior feeling would be played out. Just go in front of them and hope it comes up and we can play it out in the moment, because I don't want to have to think about it.
Yeah, I feel like I have to sleep on it first. I have to really figure out what's going on, and is this something I can absorb and just let be, or is this going to become a persistent problem? Is this something I have to nip in the bud now, before it grows out? It's out of control, is it? And sometimes it's just me. It's something that I feel is a problem, but it's not really a problem. So I don't normally just jump the gun and jump into somebody's face I got a problem. I'm thinking about it and figuring it out before that happens.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
I think with the NF, I'm also jumping on, why is there a problem? I need to know the why.
Understanding.
And it's either with NF play, I consult the tribe, and then after consulting the tribe, I jump to the consume, try to work it out for myself. And sometimes you can bypass the tribe and just try to work it out for yourself without because I got the blast last.
Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to avoid having to go and blast this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have a very strong intuitive sense of what's going on and why there's an issue, I have no problem just showing up and something will trigger and I'll blast. And usually that's fine, but that's not always the case. If it's something I'm confused about, I have to do that deep internal work, or I'll just play it out until I go, oh, I have that insight aha moment, and then I can blast.
Yeah, I think having sleep last, I'm always mindful that I haven't really processed this thing yet, and if I go blasting about it, I might get angry, and it's not going to go well because I don't really understand it fully.
So Kevin, you and I have different modalities, right? So
Yeah.
I'm curious about that difference there. Like, 'cause it looks like I'm looking at your type. It's very similar to mine, obviously, except you're masculine, feminine. I'm feminine, feminine.
Yeah.
So you're masculine where then? You're masculine on your
The SE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means you're feminine on the
feminine and I. Yeah. So I'm like movable on the patterns that I come up with.
Oh,
sex and stuff.
I'm stubborn as heck there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty movable there. So it's kind of nice. It's good in sleep processing, I've found, because it's like, play with this idea. No, play with this one. Play with this one.
That's interesting.
Jumping around there. So yeah, this isn't about NI. So sorry about.
Yeah, no, I was just curious on that.
Jump into that, but yeah. So let's ask the next question here. Although we have Odom's ears. Hey, Odom.
Oh, Tim.
Do you see yourself as making decisions based on tribe values? I guess we kind of covered that. Anything else you guys want to say on that? For me, I'll say something. I'll jump in at first. I see that I know what the tribe values are, and I'm jumping to my TI. Do I have reasons to value that thing? Yes or no? I'll value it if I have the reasons, but I'm not just going to take what they're valuing and just automatically value it. So
you have to double decide first.
Yeah, and I have to actually have good reasons to actually value it for myself. I'm not valuing it because they're valuing it. I check with me. Okay, do I vibe with this? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So this will be interesting because I'm play first, so I'm gathering in the savior stage, and there's always this question to myself, like, where does this fit within my spectrum? So for Kevin and Rick, you guys are double activated in your play as a savior animal. So how does that play out with you? Because I feel like it's almost like, do you feel it as strongly as I do, or even more because you're double activated on that?
You want to jump in first, Rick?
I can take a stab at it. Yeah, I'm not sure the full context of the question, but I think the difference of the double activated play for me and how I'm interpreting what you're saying previously, Ian, is that I think the difference would be in the sensory of, like, how much am I actually willing to just be there with the sensory, take that sensory in and be conscious of that in the moment, versus being overwhelmed by the sensory. And when I'm in play mode with somebody, it's really to get a nugget that makes me go, aha, and I run with that. Okay. I'm not taking it all in. I'm not respecting as much of the amount of information I can get and details I can get from that play interaction. The play really is everyone feeling good? Is everything fine? Are we vibing well? Great. And did I get enough information to get my pattern complete? Good, because my pattern's done. I know what I need to know. Like, I'm good. It's not really to just be there. It's not there to enjoy the play. The play is a process to understand, right? It isn't a process to just be in. It's a process to do something, and it's usually to understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that kind of clarify?
No, that makes a whole lot of sense, because as a skip, like, I'm taking it all in, right?
Yeah.
For person. So when it comes to people, it's like I would rather just being double feminine on it. It's like I'm gonna allow them. I'm going to give them this time, and I'm going to just let them. They could tell me I could learn nothing from the interaction, but it wasn't a waste of time because I gave that person this time, and there was a chance I could have learned something,
And that's respect to you. That sounds like it's a respectful way to be with that person and to play in that moment, right? That's a positive interaction in itself to have. There's not an ultimate goal there of just you need to get information to understand a pattern.
It's about the moment, and it's about the prospects or the opportunity for information. Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Jacob, does that relate to you? Resonate with you?
I'm gonna be honest here. I went on any tangent, and I was pattern locking a while ago and fixated on that. So earlier we were talking about what's it called? The position of FE in our animal stacks. one thing I noticed they're pattern locked on, and you can do this with absolutely any function. Let's talk about FE. There's 16 different animal stacks. If you ever see the type chart that Dave and Shan produced with 128 types, there's 16 animal stacks. 8 of those will have savior DE. So you can times that by 2 if you're going to do double decider and single deciders. So there'll be 16 different versions of DE. Divide by 2, 8 versions for FE, times by 2 because of masculine, feminine. There'll be 16 different presentations of FE. And in this specific video, we only have 2 presentations because me and Ian have the same position of FE. Kevin and Rick have the same position of FE. So out of the 16 presentations of FE, we are only presenting 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. That was overconsumed.
That was a fun journey.
That was good. I like it. Yeah, we'll go back to the play thing, double activated. I see that I will be ready to play on things that I'm interested in all the time, like this typology stuff and all that. But other things that are outside of my interests, I'm not gonna be that excited about doing play on those topics or whatever. And that's kind of a struggle I'm seeing because I think my wife has lead play. She's at EP, I think. So she wants to play all the time on any topic. And it's like, I want to be able to do that, but so it's a struggle to do it, for me.
Yes.
I have to be interested in this thing to play. And I'm not most of the time. So
yeah, I think I relate very much to that version of play, Kevin, of like, I want to be like other folks who can kind of just go on to anything and banter back and forth and seem to enjoy it. But I just feel incredibly awkward when I do that because I just want to go, why, and understand it deeper. So then I can finally play on it. Because otherwise I just feel like I'm contributing absolutely nothing and I'm just getting overwhelmed and I don't know what to say. And this is for them,
Definitely. Yeah.
So Jacob, I guess bring you back to that topic. How does the play out with you?
Right.
Because it's NE and then it's double activated NE, the fixation's never the FE. Because all of us are double deciders. I think, except for Kevin and Rick aren't doubling down on their lead function. I have FE and I have TI, but the fixation is definitely on the NE. It's just, we're talking about play. It's a back and forth jump. It's just going back and forth, and it even adds that because of the sleep. I'm jumping back and forth between the sleep processing and the play energy. I'm going too deep NF. Does any of that make sense?
No, it does, because me with the SE, right, being double activated, that play consume combo. It's about that OE, right? So you're feeding that OE and you're playing, but you're also like consuming at the same time.
Yeah.
Doing it with people, right? It's about, and then you're like, okay, well, how does this strike me, right? So if it's something like Kevin, you were saying you're not interested, go ahead.
Or FE would blast last. And so for us specifically, we don't need to check in with the tribe. We're only checking in with ourselves because we're not organizing the tribe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really just, it's about the information, what you can get, right? Something I'm not interested in, I'm just there and it's like, okay, they're talking at me and it's like kind of like bouncing off my head. But if they're saying something I'm interested in, I'm going to actually involve myself and inject myself, and I'll be more active because I want something for the benefit of me, for my TI to go sleep on later. But I can be in a situation and I'm present, but I'm not there.
That's intriguing to me. Yeah, I feel like if I'm turning it on to listen to somebody and taking the information, it's a conscious effort. It's activated, and I'm listening to everything to build patterns. Yeah. And I'm not there. Personal Rick is not there. He doesn't care either way. It's just taking it into pattern,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always trying to take in and understand the pattern that I'm seeing. That's like, you can't shut that off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah. All right. Let's, somebody's asked something here. Let me see. Observation. Review.
You want to pull that observation up?
Yeah. Physical and social environment. FM. Okay. You guys want to say anything on that?
That was very NF.
I need someone to play with this with me out loud here so I can hear it.
He's saying that we are just we're chill. Like this doesn't feel weird in this whole this environment. It's not awkward. It's like we're flowing, right?
Mm.
We have that FF play. This is all interesting to us, right? So we're in the midst of it, right? We're flowing with it.
Yeah. And they're associating with the double feminine SF.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Right. Like nobody's pushing, nobody is forcing their opinion or, trying to take it into a different direction. We're all just moving along with it.
I like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
I see that.
And Jacob's just bearing with us, as he tries to, calculate.
He's calculating.
Yeah.
He's like, we got 0.1% of the actual amount of the spectrum here. Like, let's get the real thing going, guys, so we can see all of the patterns. Thank you.
Let me throw up another thing here. So you guys talking about FE relates to being info energy dom. Oh yeah, we didn't have anything about that.
Well, if we're talking about info energy dom, it's asking whether info DOMs will have FE double activated, whereas the energy DOMs will have it single activated.
Yeah, I think for me, I see that I want all of the information to make sense to me at all times. I guess that's the big thing for me. It's like if I'm unclear on something, I need to clear that up before I can, address things or whatever.
Same.
Yeah, I am imbalanced on just like I said, I like to sit there and I like to pull in information from people, but I don't like to share it through the blast, right? So I'll have a bunch of stuff that's stored up, knowledge, whatever, and it's not until I'm like prompted to do so will I like just dump it out on everybody. And they're like, and people are like surprised, like why didn't you ever say anything? And I'm like, like
you weren't ready yet, right?
Yeah, or it's just I didn't feel the need to. There wasn't any type of. There's no reason to. There has to be like a trigger.
Yeah,
we like to really blast and express. So like an OP. Like I was on Ben's show the other day, and it was like I feel like I have enough now, and I can say something. Like I've just been like working on myself, sleeping on it, figuring things out, and now it's like okay, I got it. Now I need to talk about it.
So is there a trigger in, or is it more of like it's just a feeling that okay, you filled up enough, and now that you feel like you want to take part in this, you can?
It's a trigger.
Yeah,
it's a trigger because I have to work through. I mean, the play consume is like that's home base, right? So I'm going to be all day, and then when prompted to blast, okay, first I have to narrow everything down. Even if I already know it and I know it well, I still have to go out and just get more to update.
Mm-hmm.
narrow down, and then blast. Okay. We got something here from Beth. More about your subjective experience as a tester. You guys want to talk about that?
Isn't that it's more of a sensory thing though, or sensory intuition thing?
It's well, your FE's feminine and your sensory's feminine, right? You three.
So
that makes you a tester.
Testing with the tribe. Do we test with the tribe? Feeling them out.
I mean, I think we, in the sense of play, I guess it's my savior. So, I mean, I talked about this the other day in that interview where it is like I'm kind of sitting in the back sometimes just watching things develop. Like I don't like to. I call it surveying, right? So I ask a question and I just want to see where it goes and what happens. So I'm not trying to force or predict, not predict, but I'm not trying to influence the environment. So I would rather be able to just sit back and observe and just watch how everything develops and especially if something naturally unanticipated happens in an environment. What happens? Right. I'm just taking it all in.
Let me ask you this, Ian. If you're at a big party and there are like different groups of people there, will you like bounce around to different groups and like see what's going on and like I'm thinking of that like Tester, like go over here, see what these people are talking about, jump over here.
I find myself sometimes just drawn to say, okay, what are they talking about? So I'll make myself over there and just try to insert myself into the conversation, or at least get a window of what's going on in the totality of the area. That is true.
I had a prediction before we even had the chat, looking at our animal stacks. Most likely Kevin and Rick would be leading the conversation, and me and Ian would be reacting to it. And I feel that my prediction was pretty spot on.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
Makes sense, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Odom said something here. Let's throw this up here real fast. OE plus FE is super objective focused. Just focus on the info. OI plus FE has more of a subjective approach. Trying to enrich the OI from play.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything I take in, like I was talking about with the SF cool thing, like I collect it, I don't do anything with it. Whereas you take a ESFB, right? They put their stamp of approval on it or not, right? The blasters have their own thing, and then the SF sleepers have their own. So for me, SF is very objective. It really, I don't have any opinions on it.
I think I have opinions on it, but like I see what other people are valuing, like physical stuff that they're valuing, and I know whether or not I'm valuing it or not. I mean, I'm aware of that. Like I'll see people like debating what vehicle, like a Jeep or a car or something, how these are better than others, and I'm kind of taking that in, and I see that's the popular thing over there, and I'll have my own opinions on it. But what they value, I don't really care what it is that they value. Is that kind of what you're saying, Ian? Like,
yeah, but
you don't have a stake in what they're valuing.
Yeah, I don't weigh in on it as much.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't.
I really have a lot of opinions about it.
Yeah, I don't.
For an opinion, I'll have one for you. Most of the time, I don't care.
Yeah.
So can I I'll poke a little bit here on you two, actually, Ian and Kevin. So Kevin, you're saying you don't weigh in, and Ian, you're saying you don't weigh in. But I'm interpreting both of your versions of that differently. Ian, I'm taking that as like you just either way, doesn't matter, don't care. It is what it is. That's reality. Here's the things. Here's the data. And Kevin, I'm seeing yours more as you don't weigh in if you don't inject yourself into the conversation, but you may have your own interpretation of what you deem as more valuable or not.
Yeah.
Right.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
So Kevin, in a way, then yours is more like mine. Yours is subjective in a way, right? Yeah. And then Ian, yours is definitely much more objective in that sense.
That's good. You saw the NI pattern there, man. That was really good.
I can't help it.
I like it.
I just don't want to keep blasting. I don't want to take over the whole time.
Okay. Let's go back to some questions here. What's your relationship with your own emotions and feelings? Do you have a strong connection to them? Are you in touch with them? Are you tracking them?
I'm tracking them all the time. That's been a fascination since I was a kid, because to me it's easy to see outside and everybody else's and stuff, and then like think I'm feeling one way, but then looking back and reflecting on it, going, wait a minute, I actually was feeling this way, and there's a discrepancy, and what the hell, and right. And over time, it's more of I got to track the patterns and see what works and doesn't work for me, right? So yeah, I don't remember the original question. That's
it. That's good. Yeah, Ian.
Are we tracking our emotions? Was the question.
Yeah. Are we tracking them? Are you aware of what emotions you're having? Are you
in the moment? I'm aware of them, but most of the time I don't. Right.
Yeah.
I think for me, when I have, sorry, Jacob, go ahead.
Because for me and Ian, the FE is linked to we have the blast last FE. So I feel like we have a very low priority to organize it, and rather than experience it. So the play is just experiencing it. It's not necessarily trying to organize, think about it. With the blast last demon working on it, actively trying to do that, but I would definitely a demon state, not a savior state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys have the lead last.
Rick, you had something else you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall what the heck I was going to say.
Okay, I can start saying.
Sorry.
I came up with this. I came up with this particular question because I have alexithymia. I'm blind to my own emotions, so I don't see them at all. So I was curious what you guys' experience with FE was, because like my relationship with my emotions is I don't see them. I'm not aware of them. Do I have a strong connection to them? No, I don't, because I don't see them, and I'm not in touch with them, and I'm not tracking them. I don't save them in memory to like recall and think about. They're not there. So
yeah. So okay.
To see what you guys, because I'm trying to ping off. Like I'm aware of my physical body, the chemicals that are happening in me, the thoughts I'm having. So I know that emotions are happening in me. I just don't see them. So I'm trying to like be able to triangulate that and understand it. And I wanted to get your input on your emotions, like how you're seeing them, because I don't see mine at all, and I was curious.
So that did help me to remind myself a second ago what I lost there, what I was trying to say, which I'll get to. But basically, I relate to a little of that, Kevin, in that like knowing my emotions and recognizing them. It's so fleeting, I guess, that as a kid, that's why I became obsessed with trying to track them, because to me that was the ultimate truth, was my emotions, because I know everyone else's, it's obvious, but do I know mine? Right. And what I realized is I didn't have the ability to observe them, to label them, and then to recognize the patterns of them in the reality. Instead, what I was doing was I was subjectively experiencing emotions, and then in the moment that was influencing my perspective of what reality is. And I wasn't necessarily realizing those were emotions. To me, I was just pissed off because somebody else was wrong, or I was just stifled. And so therefore now I feel frustrated, but I didn't know I was frustrated. I was just knowing that those people that were making me feel frustrated, I didn't know it, those people were wrong because something else like they were doing, and I wasn't letting myself be myself. Right. And so tracking and reflecting on that and seeing, I actually was experiencing emotions in that moment helps me to be more mindful in the future and going, I feel like this person's talking too much because this thing and their reasons. Wait, I'm projecting that, or I'm actually having an emotion internally and I'm putting the emotions outside to see my own. It's reverse engineering, really. Yeah. Right. So I relate in the sense that seeing my own is not so opaque. It's transparent to me. Like I can't, it's cloudy, but I do the math. Right. So if I feel strongly on a way that I value something, there's emotions behind that. If I'm recognizing I'm probably having emotions in a moment, it's probably because I'm minimizing myself and there's something I need to check in with myself in that moment, and I'm playing too much in that moment, right? So for me, it's a lot of that play of the functions, and then just sleep last is just totally not being seen, right? So that's just bouncing a little bit there, a little blast on that.
Yeah, I like that. That was good. That's helpful. Thank you.
Wait, so you were saying earlier about not being able to objectively see your own emotions because you're doing it internally. We all have sleep demon, all of us. I find it extremely uncomfortable to see myself on video of any sort. And if I were to even try to interpret my emotions from an external point of view, I would probably it'd be a very uncomfortable situation. But we should probably all try, just for the sake of getting out of the comfort zone, like seeing our emotions.
I would encourage that just for the growth's sake of it, because that's actually how I was tracking my own stuff growing up. Was I was making art and creating things, making music, cartoons, poetry, writing, whatever it was, and then eventually I started to record myself just talking or video and going back and watching it. Oh my God, it was so cringe. It was the worst, most painful, uncomfortable thing to do. That's actually why I started my own YouTube channel, was to just get over that. Just get over that. And it was a way to process my own stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely starting to see the value of processing your own stuff. It's huge, and I don't do it enough, for sure. Yeah.
It comes in swing. Like they're just triggering events that'll just send me into this big sleep event where I'm just disappear from the world and just, make sense of it all, come up again, and then I just keep moving.
You need to tap out.
A little bit, yeah.
All right. Odom said something here. If I'm in a bad mood, I find it hard to shift my state consciously. Demon F. Do you guys have tips for shifting your own emotional state? I don't have.
Go play, man. You gotta go play with the tribe.
Yeah, I think for me, I know that I'm so movable with people
Mhm.
that, like, if somebody around me is feeling good, and even though I'm feeling really cruddy, if somebody around me is feeling good enough and they can recognize that I'm not feeling good, and I interpret that they recognize that, that's enough to automatically bring me up. So, like, it's manipulating others in a way by showing up and being around others to play so that I can be in a better state, even though I really don't want to. But I know better, so I do it.
It's the same thing for me. It's like if I'd rather sit there and just I'm naturally going to just absorb whatever's going on. It just gets my mind off of it, even if I want to be around those people.
Yeah,
you know, it's being in this environment helps a whole lot.
Yeah,
guys, we're hitting that 1 hour. We're at 1 hour right now. You guys want to keep going or?
It's up to you. I'm having fun.
Go.
To answer,
I'm good for another. I'll just say I'm good for another 15 minutes or so.
Okay, let's aim for that then.
To answer Odom's question real quick. Sorry, because I had it on my mind.
Cool.
I work in healthcare, and I find it as a very fulfilling job. A lot of times you have the patients, they're very moody, their health's in terrible condition, therefore their emotion states aren't going to be actively regulated. I feel it. I've been told by coworkers I have a emotional skill that I'm just adjusting to them, like promoting the positivity. It's an objective. For our very first question earlier, do you consider FE fake? I feel like it can be fake, that you don't internally feel okay, but externally you definitely feel you're okay or show you're okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Yeah.
I think being able to adapt to the context and what's needed, and to whether you show yourself fully and inject yourself or not, is a choice we get to make. And having the feminine FE allows us to easily hide ourselves if it makes a situation better for all involved. I think the counter would be the trickier one, is to have to inject yourself when you don't necessarily feel comfortable doing so. But yeah, I think that's a kind of a skill to have for some folks. Either way. Yeah.
Okay. Since we don't have much time left, let me jump through some questions here. How would an outsider be able to tell that FE is your savior and TI is your demon?
Yeah. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Ask me a personal question and see how awkward I am.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get ridiculously concise.
Ask
Personal question.
Yeah, ask me to explain my reasons, your logic on something. I'll be like, I'll be frustrated. I'll do it reluctantly.
Yeah.
I'm a little like, I don't want to do that, but okay. You know.
I can tell you everything everybody else is thinking or going through about it, but I will on purpose leave myself out of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's to another question here. How do you guys see the TE-FI axis? What's your understanding, relationship with that? Thoughts on it, whatever?
I'm not fascinated with TE at all. I think it's just like I've my career and everything has been with TEs, and I work with them all my life. So that piece of it is just regular to me. But the FI, I think, is fascinating.
Is there a fakeness to TE like there is to FE? Would you guys? It's not deep like our TE.
I think there's a shallowness for me, and I don't mean that in a negative context. I just think it doesn't go as deep as I would like it to, and it jumps around more than I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Reginald said he's offended here. Sorry, Reg. Too bad. All right. Yeah, I like TE. I think I like the idea of the brainstorming, throwing out ideas and stuff. When I'm in that situation, my TI doesn't like it, but I need to learn to be able to. That happens, and we need to be able to do that with other people, even though it's difficult. I don't want to sit on the sidelines where everybody else is brainstorming. That's not fun.
Yeah.
not attach your identity to it when you're doing it, which is hard.
I find that difficult in brainstorm sessions where it seems like the amount of just randomness of thoughts that are coming at it just to solve something seems so far away from what's the obvious direction we should be going.
Yeah.
I get flustered, but I've learned to embrace it because certain types of creativity comes from that, and not novelty, but ingenuity comes from that. And I think it's interesting. It's just frustrating for me to experience.
Yeah, they're shooting at your one TI idea of thought or what you kind of built, and it's just in and out in like a couple of seconds.
Yeah, especially if I throw it out and it's treated like I treat TE.
Yeah.
Not fun. Yeah.
Now, FI on the other hand, I'm fascinated. Yeah. Like I love it, but I hate it. Like, because I have a sister who she has to be like double activated masculine FI. And it's like, why can't you ever take yourself out of a situation? It's like, you're in the family, but but you want to assert and keep your rights. Like it doesn't make sense. But then I love it because she is not afraid to do her own thing in any given situation.
Yeah, I admire that. Yeah, that's nice. And being in touch with what you're actually feeling, I don't have that. So being able to know exactly what you're feeling, what your values are, like that,
and prioritize it. That's pretty crazy.
Based on that,
Wish I could prioritize my own FI if I had FI.
Yeah,
I can't do that. Yeah.
I find it fascinating when somebody can say, because I like it, is there a reason for something? I'm just like blown away by that.
Right.
And I'm like, but why? But why? But why?
Yeah. You need to know why.
Just because I like it.
I need to understand. That doesn't compute at all. It's like, you have no reasons you can give me for that? Yeah. All right. Well, we're getting short on time. Let's just talk about some easy stuff here. The stereotypes of FE, Savior FE. We seek tribe validation, the validation cookies. They talk about that a lot in like Facebook groups and stuff. Do you see yourself doing that, seeking tribe validation?
No.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't feel that way at all. I can see that with the fake thing we talked about earlier, right? Of like you're being in front of other people and you're playing it a certain way from the outside to like get along with them. That could seem like you're trying to self-validate by getting along with people, but I think there's authenticity in the sincerity of that play dynamic, and validate. It's not validating my ideas. It's not validating my patterns, which I already am very strong on. It's just playing. I don't know. I don't see myself doing much for the validation.
Well, like when you do things for other people and they praise you for that, is that something that you're seeking?
It's uncomfortable. I'd rather them not know if possible, to be honest.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm giving myself validation in those situations.
It's self-validation through the sleep process for me. Like, I'm proud that I did this thing for myself and maybe to help others, but like
I see myself in a better light because I did good things. I'm doing that for myself. Yeah.
I relate with that, Kevin.
Yeah.
I think with the double deciding with the validation cookies, we're not, at least in my situation, I'm not actively going to the tribe for a validation cookie. I'm doing it for myself, but if they give me the validation cookie, they taste really good.
Bake you some cookies and actually give you some physical cookies. That'd be nice. Yeah. I'll take that.
Reginald said it's about emotional fairsies. What do you guys think about that?
Emotional fairsies?
No, I think it's just prioritizing what's best in this situation. It's not about being fair. I think there's the difference between like a Savior FE, like a EJ versus a double decider FE. I think it's hugely different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the emotional fairsy stuff comes from the EJ type.
I think probably too. Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I do see, if I see someone is feeling, I can see that they're feeling in a particular way that doesn't seem like they should actually be feeling that way. They should have a different feeling. That is off-putting to me, I guess you could say. I don't understand it. It seems like they shouldn't be feeling that, maybe, in that situation. But I'm not going to do anything about it. Maybe that's a fairness thing. I don't know if that relates or not. But yeah. I do see, like, if someone just did some terrible thing and they don't seem distressed about it or bothered by it, and they should actually, like, if I was in that situation, I would feel, I would think that was a terrible thing that I did. I would look, like I was not happy with, if they're like giggling and happy and stuff, it's like, you just did this terrible thing. Why are you feeling this way? It doesn't seem to match. That does concern me, I guess. But I don't know. I'm rambling a little here. So
To answer Michael F, yes, short answer, because they don't have their masculine TI to reason it out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of masculine FE, to be honest.
I think that, like, when you think of like the Karen types that they talk about, telling you how you should feel, this should be the way you should this, and then they aren't solid reasons. You know, it's horrible. It is.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. My FE's like, don't say anything about that. Let me do another stereotype. We martyr ourselves for the tribe. Do you guys relate to that? Being a martyr, like doing things. Yeah, I don't.
I used to. Yeah, big time. Until like life stuff happened, I realized I had to do things for me and understand my own stuff. But yeah, I think that was a sense of not having a sense of self that allowed me to be more of a martyr for others and exhaust myself, deplete myself completely of all emotional and physical energy and even financially or whatever, right? Time, all the things that I had. But I attribute that to the sleep last, but also just having really crappy boundaries.
Yeah. Okay. We like people. Is that like that's a stereotype? We like people. Don't normal
That's
people.
That's a tough one.
I feel like
I like certain people.
Certain people, yeah. I give people the benefit of the doubt immediately.
You have to get to know them, but initially you'll like them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Give me a reason to not like you.
Yeah.
And I won't.
It's very easy to get to that place where you don't like it. Yeah. I can just do a couple things. Yeah. We push feelings, emotions onto others. Is that something you feel like you're doing? Pushing? EJ.
I feel like there might be experiences where I've made people feel that way in trying to explain reasons for stuff, but not necessarily my intention to tell them, you need to feel this way. Why don't you feel this way? I would never
do that.
Say that or do that. But I think maybe there might be some folks who are a little bit insecure in that realm, and they might feel like, well, are you trying to influence what I'm feeling? And I would be like, maybe, here's information. But I don't think it would ever be a very direct, manipulation.
Yeah. Yeah. Manipulating someone's emotions, that seems very wrong to me. Yeah. I think I have that value in myself that you don't do that. That's not something that's appropriate to do, to mess with other people's emotions.
I think what's interesting about that for me, Kevin, is that like I know I can do that very easily. And that sounds like maybe conceited to say.
I see what you're saying, though. Yeah, it does seem that way. Yeah.
I know that that's part of my work too, working with branding, is like trying to engage people on a very subconscious emotional level, right? And using certain language and colors and to get people to feel a certain way. But I like to be subversive with it and do it in a way that's authentic to the other people, not necessarily what I want them to feel.
Yeah, I agree. Totally, yeah. All right, guys. I think it's about time we wrap this up. Anything else anybody wants to throw out that we haven't touched on? Do you have anything you want to promote? YouTube page, anything like that? Websites, whatever? Like, if you do, send them to me. I'll put them in the comments or whatever like that. So, okay. Darren Brown.
Oh, yeah.
That's Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I got to see him live twice. That was amazing.
They're 5'12" really cool. type twins, for those who don't know. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, that's cool. I would love to see him. I've seen his shows on Netflix. It's pretty cool.
It's the same deal. Yeah, same deal on stage. Yeah, it's really cool. I do have one thing I guess I would say, maybe you could put the link out too. I have kind of a comedic video I did of interpreting my own functions for my specific NIFE, blast, play, consume, sleep, of, each character plays out a scenario as a family.
Yeah, send me the link and I'll add it to the comment.
Okay.
Cool. Reggie said one thing here. Last question. How do you experience Gary V's FE? Anyone have any thoughts on that?
Intense.
Yeah, he's just an intense person, right? Yeah. It's just
pretty
like, intense. That's it. That's the right word.
Intimidating a little bit. Like if I were there in front of him, I would be like standing back a little bit. Like
I was averse to him when he first was becoming more mainstream online. I just like, who's this, fraud was the feeling I had because it was just so over the top. But now I realize, like, all right, that's the guy. That's just his style. I get it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't give out hugs for free either.
No hugs.
No hugs. No.
All right. Let's just end it here then, guys. Thanks for doing this with me. Thanks for, agreeing to do this, and Jacob jumping in late. Looks like Jacob's frozen here.
Frozen.
All right, guys. Take care. Thanks.
All right.
Cool. All right. Thank you. See you guys.
Bye, guys. Bye, live stream.
Good thing you remembered.